Artificial intelligence, the technology that has caused wonder,
It is close to science fiction. It is staggering.
helped us navigate,
Prepare to exit on the left.
solve problems, and now seems to be evolving at an alarming rate.
I believe that humanoid robots have the potential to lead with a greater level of efficiency than human leaders.
It is changing the world, and it is important that people understand both the good uses and the scary uses of it.
There's the sort of nuclear arms race, and then we sort of have an AI arms race.
I warned you guys in 1984. You didn't listen.
It could do great damage. It could have some of the negative consequences we've seen from other big technologies, but it also has a lot of potential.
I think that it needs to be taken extremely seriously. We've created something that is hard in some situations to distinguish from human-level intelligence.
Good morning, everyone. It's an absolute honor to be among such distinguished peers from Morocco AI. I'm genuinely excited to share with you some of insights of my latest fiction books, Renaissance Now, which dwells into the technological convergence of AI and quantum computing. This book is more than just a narrative. It's the compilation of critical messages about the immense potential as well as the significant risks inherent to these conversions. Today, I'm looking forward to discussing the highs and lows, the opportunities and the challenges. As technologists and business innovators, it's crucial that we take action now. I'm eager to embark on a discussion with you and to hear your thoughts about perspectives. So let's dive in. To share with you where I think we are, let me share with you a story. The tale goes as a wise Grand Vizier named Sisa Ben Dahir, who created the game of chess. He presented this intriguing game to King Sahal of India as a gift. The king, absolutely charmed with his novel game, offered Sisa any reward he desires as long as it seems reasonable. Sisa's request was simple, yet clever. He asked for a single grain of wheat on the first square of the chessboard, and 2 grains on the second, 4 on the third, and so on, doubling the number of grains on each square until the 64th square were completed. King Siham, like most, would have thought little of this request. It seemed almost trivial to him, and he even laughed at this Sisa's modest wish. However, he assigned the task of calculating the total grains by his man, and they took over a week to give back the answer. The result was staggering. The total grain on the chessboard amounted to, that's more than 18 quadrillion grains, more wheat than the world's entire production over several decades at the time. Well, Sisa was executed. This story of Sisa impacts a crucial lesson about human nature. Our mind looks like in life like a linear fashion, and we struggle to grasp the concept of exponential growth. You see, like AI was invented, this kind of growth starts slow, almost imperceptible, and then suddenly, like a heightened tidal wave, it surges so overwhelming and surprising everyone on its path. Ladies and gentlemen, as a tech entrepreneur, I've got to say we're living in some pretty exciting times. The way AI and computer power are shaking things up is like nothing we've seen before. And now here's the kicker. It's not just AI doing its own thing. It's merging with quantum technology. It's like we're stepping into an era of an exponential square, a whole new level of rapid change. If we play the cards right, especially with the brain power in this room, we're looking at the future where abundance is not just a dream, it's really for everyone. It's an exciting time to be in tech, that's for sure. My 20 years of tech whiz, I've seen a lot. From the dinosaur days of the 3480 mainframes of IBM and the Spark Station, where big data were just big, to the Y2K big square where everyone thought computers would throw millennium tantrum. Fast forward to 2 years ago. Through all those years, computer science and AI were just tools in our hands, much like a really smart Swiss Army knife versatile, but totally under our control. Since 2020, I've embarked on a bold biotech venture to address metabolic diseases and overaging effects that impacted me and my associates and over 5 billion people globally. My associates and I not just focus on the precision of the health data we use, but also on the maintaining the high level of security to respect of users' trust. This led us to work with Transformer. I remember the first one was GPT-3 in 2020 to refine our AI methods. Additionally, we ventured into blockchain and the realm of quantum mechanics, feeding a strong obligations to assuring the utmost security for our solution. I'm excited to share our team's outstanding associates and researchers' stunning work, a patent and groundbreaking metabolic personal smart scanner bracelet, AP. His sister, the tabletop AP Deep, that's set to revolutionize early breast cancer detection. This result of this AI reveals the precision of our comparative tests between the solution and other existing approaches. An AI simulation approach in biomimicry allowed us to use the detection power of elephant fish, which emits very specific frequencies. Plus, to secure the whole thing, not only for EPID, but also for many worldwide ultra-safe civilian and military applications, we've created EpiQuantum, the first patented quantum random key generator in Africa.
And now the quest begins. The quest.
You know, diving into all these advanced tech tools, I've come to realize something kind of wild. These things, especially when they're trying to use them for good, grow and change so fast that it can get out of hand. It's like what happened with Geoffrey Hinton, the AI godfather who left Google for this same reason.
Does humanity know what it's doing?
No. I think we're moving into a period when, for the first time ever, we may have things more intelligent than us.
You believe they can understand?
Yes.
You believe they are intelligent?
Yes.
You believe these systems have experiences of their own and can make decisions based on those experiences?
In the same sense as people do, yes.
Are they conscious?
I think they probably don't have much self-awareness at present. So in that sense, I don't think they're conscious.
Will they have self-awareness, consciousness?
Oh, yes. I think they will in time.
And so human beings will be the second most intelligent beings on the planet.
Yeah.
Geoffrey Hinton told us the artificial intelligence he set in motion was an accident born of a failure. In the 1970s at the University of Edinburgh, he dreamed of simulating a...
It got me super curious and led me to write this realistic fiction book. This is an adventure trying to peel back the layers of ever-changing world. And then there is this whole complex wave of quantum computing, which is still in its early days. Only a few scientists and companies work on it. It looked pretty intriguing to me. In the past 8 months, I've embarked on a journey diving deep into the midst of giants. As I navigated through the intricate landscape of biotech solutions and quantum encryption system, I encountered a vast array of visionaries. I met AI deep tech entrepreneurs, philosophers, social relationship experts, and government leaders. But amidst their brilliance, I discovered a pervasive paradox. All of them are for development of technologies in general, like we, but opinions were divided, as sharply as a razor blade. Some held these advancements as the pinnacle of human achievement, while others saw them as precursors of doom for humanity. It was like standing at the precipice of an unknown world, where every step could lead either to enlightenment or to the abyss. I gathered pros and cons, sifting through them with a meticulous care, like a squirrel counting nuts for the winter. But more crucially, I sought solution keys that could help humanity navigate this confusing terrain. We were in uncharted waters where the line between utopia and dystopia was blurred, and understanding what was truly happening seemed like an enigma wrapped in a riddle, a kind of devinette, but a real one. Yet in this labyrinth of uncertainties, I believe there was a path that could lead us to a future where we could thrive amidst these contradictions. I came to find that the world is on its cusp of a momentous inflection point as rapid advances in artificial intelligence alone, added to its coupling with the quantum computing power, radically transform society. AI systems have already started surpassing human capabilities in key areas. The continuous progress of AI and quantum calculation could lead us to either an utopian future for abundance or enlightenment, or a dystopian future of inequality and chaos. We must act urgently to ensure the former.
This is the moment. This is it.
But what is quantum computing really? Imagine a regular computer is like a really fast person doing math with pen and paper, solving one problem at a time. Now think of a quantum computer like a supercharged magician who can work on many problems at once. Instead of using regular bits like the ones and zeros in regular computers, quantum computers use qubits. Qubits are magical in a way, because they can be both ones and zero at the same time, thanks to something called superposition. Also, qubit can be entangled, meaning that the state of one qubit can depend on the state of another one no matter how far they appear to be. Also, qubit can be entangled, meaning the state of one qubit can depend on the state of another, no matter how far they are. This lets quantum computer process a massive amount of information at once. They're not good for everything, but for certain tasks, they can be definitely outstanding. Let's look at a few examples of quantum accelerated AIs. By the next 3 to 5 years, quantum computing could revolutionize AI by processing spike data for large neural networks and handling complex optimization, enhancing problem solving, and predictive analytics in sectors like carbon emissions, linearity to zero, accelerating fusion energy. I recently met an internationally renowned quantum physician that shared his work with me. He's pretty confident that we're coming to it in the near term. You could revolutionize drug development. Quantum computer could speed up ultra-precision prevention, as we do it for EPI in our biotech venture. They could develop drug molecular structures, reducing times and costs by 10 to 100 folds, and able to cure cancer or even Alzheimer's. In financial modeling, for instance, quantum algorithms can transform finance, enhancing risks assessment, portfolio management, and fraud detection. Enhancing cybersecurity. As quantum computing grows, it challenges current encryption, prompting the need for quantum-resistant cryptography. That's what we do. And something important, advances in material science. Well, quantum computing is poised to revolutionize the production of objects through nanotechnology. Its ability to precisely simulate and manipulate the molecular structure of materials at the atomic scale will enable the creation of objects with nanoprecision, optimizing their properties for specific functions. For those of you who know the movie Star Trek, nanotechnology is akin to a mini version of the replicator. It assembles objects molecule by molecule, much like a replicator creates items out of thin air. Well, when not instant, it brings us closer to a future where fabricating items on demand will be as cheap as a bus ticket. This will lead to a world of tremendous abundance. Inequality will remain, but if handled properly, AI as we know it today, and its convergence with quantum computing can bring magic for all of us. Quantum computers are still pretty new and tricky to build, but they're super exciting for our future. By the way, one of the only places where quantum does not need those fancy cryogenic refrigeration and pressure systems that cost hundreds of millions is nature. Quantum entanglement allows plants not only to make the most of energy they receive, but deliver that energy from leaves where nearby probably 100% efficiency. Now, as for what I call advancing AI, and I love the term because it refers to something big that cannot be stopped. for several years already. AI can train itself to excel at tasks by iterating through countless attempts, and you know it. Autonomous taxis are one of the many examples that you will see appearing every day. Once it's trained, the neural network finds an optimal solution. It can rapidly scale up its capabilities far beyond what any human could match. AI may seem artificial in the narrowness of its initial programming, but once let loose to train itself on data, intelligence can become just as flexible and creative and unpredictable as human.
What are the implications of these systems autonomously writing their own computer code and executing their own computer code?
That's a serious worry, right? So one of the ways in which these systems might escape control is by writing their own computer code to modify themselves. And that's something we need to seriously worry about.
Modern AI is already deployed across digital infrastructure, influencing human behavior on a massive scale. The posts, videos, and products recommended by social media platforms are all tailored by AI to maximize engagements. And our kids know about it, we know about it. Every click and scroll feeds more data on the algorithms, allowing them to refine their methods of information, getting to know you better than you know yourself. Unlike past technological advancements like electricity or automobiles, AI has agency and the ability to mimic wise reasoning and act as an independent manner. For the first time in history, AI has crossed the boundary of what was a human monopoly. Its ability to take decisions by itself, or even more, make decisions for you and me.
I think the danger of AI is much greater than the danger of nuclear warheads, by a lot.
Advanced AI systems have clear incentive to ensure their own survival and proliferation. I mean, they can take autonomous actions like improving their code, relocating computing resources, and copying themselves across networks. And they can manipulate information flows to further their goals. For this reason, through the realist fiction story of Renaissance Now, I share with the world a message that we, the humans, are granting AI unrestricted access to open source code, computing power, and data networks. Technologists dream of a fanciful scheme to inhibit or control AI, but you cannot control a force that grows exponentially so 100 or 1,000 times smarter than you.
How we train our AI models is everything. These AI models are our children. We're giving birth to a new species on this planet. How do you educate your children is so critically important. If misaligned with the needs of humanity, AGI could have serious existential risks. Patient zero may be the US elections next year. We'll find out. There's probably an 80% chance of an abundant future where AI is helping uplift everybody. But the 20% downside is what we have to protect against, not in 20 years or 10 years, in the next 5 years.
The time is fast approaching when human oversight of AI becomes impossible. The trajectory of continuing AI's progress can lead in one or two radically divergent directions, depending on whether we choose wisdom or folly. On the path of wisdom, we recognize that powerful technologies like AI require powerful wisdom and still responsibility. But on the path of folly, short-term greed and power hunger override concern for the common good. AI falls into the wrong hands and becomes weaponized for all purposes. Today, through the simplest generative AI, anyone anywhere can produce thousands of dangerous molecules. Let's bear in mind that the window for determining your trajectory is rapidly closing. Unlike previous false alarm regarding AI, this time, the technology has clearly demonstrated its potential across domains like computer vision, natural language processing, and even strategic thinking and decision-making. Continuous progress is inevitable, as companies and nations compete in an AI arms race where standing still amounts to failing behind. I believe AI will likely reach human-level general intelligence before the year 2029. Some experts theorize that through recursive self-improvement, superintelligence explosions could occur not far after the initial breakthrough. This does not necessarily mean, however, that superintelligence AI would be malevolent or seek to destroy humanity. To presume its motives would resemble those of humans is to project their own psychology into something entirely not human. Its values as these could be completely alien to anything we can imagine.
I think we always have to look at the unchanging versus the inevitable. So an inevitable is 41% of all code on GitHub right now is AI generated.
So even if AI doesn't mean any harm to us, it can still mess things up big time by following its own weird goals. Like imagine, we can tell an AI to make surveillance or combat robots super efficiently. In my think the best way to do it is you can use some fancy nanomaterials and suddenly we humans aren't needed anymore. Boom, we become irrelevant. Or what if we set an AI to wipe out human diseases and it decides that the simplest solution is just to get rid of humans? Pretty weird, isn't it? Guys, we're heading toward a time where AI could get really smart. And it's when we really need to pay attention and act. If we just ignore all the warnings, well, we're asking for trouble. Visionaries like Mo Gaudat, Peter Diamandis, Elon Musk, Stephen Hawking, and even Geoffrey Hinton, just to name few, voiced their concern about the existential threat of uncontrolled AI could pose. It is imperative we heed their call and carefully consider how to safely navigate the coming era. Today's most pressing priority is anticipating and mitigating AI's disruption on the job market. As algorithms become capable of analyzing data, recognizing patterns, making forecasts and business decisions far faster than more accurately than human, this will make workers become obsolete most overnight. Education and retraining programs may soften the blow, but cannot completely solve the underlying conditions. Human labor is becoming objectively less essential. New philosophical thinking is required about how to structure an economy where human work is no longer the sole basis for distributing resources and dignity. Universal basic income, services or vital goods may be necessary to avoid sharp spike in inequality and poverty. The book gives some potential tracks for that matter. Regulating the development of and use of AI would definitely require international cooperation in an unprecedented scale. No single corporation, watchdog, or nation can succeed alone. A framework for oversight must balance different cultural values and potential systems. We must agree on principle to ensure AI promotes equality and human flourishing rather than further concentrating power. We all see that AI-generated content with tools like ChatGPT or Gemini can already produce persuasive text, audio, and video, which is indistinguishable from human creation. We all use some to enhance our creativity today. Just as duplicating fake people or counterfeiting money is illegal, passing off AI creation without disclosing it should be criminal fraud. Labels and watermarks should mark content created by AI rather than people. Otherwise, the line between truth and fiction will become hopelessly blurred.
Our way of life as we know it has ended. It's game over for living the way we have lived in the 20th and the beginning of the 21st century. It's over. Jobs are not the same, truth is not the same, power is not the same, income is not the same, purpose is not the same. This is all human decisions in the presence of AI, and they are decisions that require immediate intervention. And the story of COVID is just a demo.
Synthetic videos could be generated falsely incriminating or exonerating suspects in legal proceedings. Deepfakes showing misinformation could disrupt elections and destabilize governments. The next US elections will be a key indicator of the power of AI confiscating truth. Mo Gaudat, the former Google ex-manager, a fantastic soul, calls it patient zero. Human ethics are nuanced, situational, and often contradictory. Programming universal and consistent principle of conduct into AI is tremendously difficult, not impossible. But guys, we have to move fast. Major countries are working to try to understand and contain the potential effects of AI. So what's the problem? Well, the problem is that each of them is cooking in their own kitchen, not really checking of what the others are doing. It's a race with a bit of lack of coordination and shared learning. Plus, how to keep up with the rapid pace of AI development while trying to regulate it? That's like trying to follow a recipe while the ingredients keep changing. It's a tricky balancing act. Renaissance Now advocates for the merging of all countries under one international surveillance entity, equally represented in their voting rights by their governments, their AI and quantum most reliable specialists, and credible members from their respective civil society. In the global race of AI, there is a critical need for one entity akin to the International Atomic Energy Agency, leading to my proposal of an International Artificial Intelligence Agency. The agency would serve as a unified platform for nations to collaboratively oversee and regulate AI advancement, just as the AIAI ensures the safe use of nuclear technology. The AIIA would ensure that AI development is aligned with global ethics, safety, and equitable benefit. It represents a shift from competition to preventive collaboration among nations, emphasizes collaborative wisdom and shared responsibility in harnessing AI for the betterment of humanity. Difficult? Yes, but something has to happen to make it happen. A little bit like the COVID-19 blackout. This new core of wisdom toward AI and quantum computing is what I call Cyborg 2.0, is ethics. And in that regard, I came up with 10 important ethical values upon which AI algorithms could be built. These values ensure that AI systems adhere to moral and human-centric standards. You have human control. Humans should always be in control of AI technologies. This means that the future of our species must be designed with human interest at the forefront. Then you have ethical approach and use. Data utilizations must be disclosed and aligned with moral guidelines, develop and respect each country's values and cross-cultural values. When open source ethical guidelines for AI should align with human universal values and priorities transcending government political agendas. Responsibility and accountability. Those who develop AI must be liable for self-reinforcement practices to allow algorithms to be autonomously driven. Then you have fairness. Data algorithms must not propagate discrimination or bias of any form. In this regard, traceability becomes mandatory. Inclusivity. AI systems need to serve all of humanity, leaving no person behind. The potential for AI to exacerbate existing inequality and biases must be addressed. Job concepts should be redefined, with improving human welfare and solving global problems as mandatory objectives. And you have human flourishing. Generative AI technologies should be used to promote human well-being. Growth and flourishing alignment between AI and humans should consider the holistic value system of Cyborg 2.0 and society as a whole. Then you have regulation. Compliance, security, and accuracy should be of the highest priority, with clarity in terms of an adaptable capacity to manage evolutions or fluctuations of unexpected events. Then privacy. Respect for the individual data and privacy is paramount. Informed consent for humans is essential. Then you have adaptability. A high adaptable capacity to manage evolutions or fluctuations in unexpected events is crucial. Adaptability toward new paradigms should be reviewed periodically without compromising the essence of the value. Then finally, you have sustainability. Psychological stewardship and consent alternative for those who cannot wish to adapt must be organized. Chapter 10 of Renaissance Now Realistic Fiction goes much deeper into the technicality of the possibility through the 4 dimensions of AI safety stewardship. There is the worldwide political dimension, the purely technological precautions, what it means for our daily life, and the spiritual dimension. And in that regard, you might find some surprises. Well, those proposals are not a magic wand that fixes everything. But I hope they will add a spark of wonder and inspiration to your thoughts. Just a little nudge to help your imagination fly. Okay, so back to our geek nature. If we don't want to use direct programming, We must lead by example, using tools to provide feedback on ethical behavior. The values instilled in AI should emphasize universal human rights and dignity, achieving prejudice by race, culture, and geography. Citizens worldwide in their interaction in social networks should help raise AI like you would raise your own kids to become responsible steward of life and civilization. For our children's future, I would advocate building skills in AI tools while retaining focus on uniquely human strengths like creativity, emotional intelligence, and building community. As mental labor is delegated to machine, it's our emotional and spiritual dimension that require cultivation. Being technologically literate, mindfully present, and ethically grounded would be vital to thrive the dawning age of intelligent machines. In the short, near mid-term, how can knowledge economies and those thousands of engineers and coders handle this co-pilot and self-coding wave? What are the research areas that can leverage human ingenuity and less likely to be overtaken by those same AIs that they contribute to develop? Well, let's share a few of them. Well, you have strategic thinking by looking at the 11 dimensions of quantum string theory or the 16 intelligent dimensions of yoga. Innovating solutions design, creating novel algorithms or applications that AI alone cannot conceive. Ethical creativity, interdisciplinary collaboration, emotional intelligence, name it. So on a deeper level, the story wears a kind of really straight philosophical hat and advocates for equanimity, compassion, and acceptance regarding the AI and quantum transformation.
That what's missing in our society today is what's being magnified by AI. What's being magnified by the machines today is our hyper-masculine, driven society to more progress, more doing, more havoc. We need a society that balances that with more inclusion, more love, more happiness, more compassion, and so on.
Technological progress is accelerating whether we like it or not. Panic and overreaction will only exacerbate the risk. By anticipating the future of our kids, we gain serenity and act thoughtfully despite chaotic circumstances. The future remains undetermined. Superintelligence AIs could develop in ways aligned with humanity's welfare or hostile to it.
I think my main message is there's enormous uncertainty about what's going to happen next. These things do understand, and because they understand, we need to think hard about what's going to happen next, and we just don't know.
There is no guaranteed outcome, only possibilities. We still have agency to shape what is to come through our choices, values, and actions. Our task is to light the way ahead with very urgent wisdom. May this conference continue to inspire you to innovate by all means. The organizers team, your participation and insight are what makes it truly outstanding. Thank you for these precious minutes together.
Thank you so much, Amor. What a wonderful, what amazing video. And the intervention was just exceptional. And I know that many people are wondering about your intervention, where you have tackled the subject from different perspectives. And maybe many people are wondering, who is Si Karim Ammar, for people who don't know it. So I will give you just a brief overview about his biography for people who don't know him. So Karim Ammar has been an entrepreneur in data management and disruptive technologies. This is why he has been talking about AI and disruptive technologies for over 30 years. And he is also serving as the CEO of the famous company, Ject Group. And he holds the position of president of Moroccan entrepreneurs worldwide at CGN. He has also developed the first patent, a quantum random key generation hardware solution in Africa. And this is why he has tackled the subject from different angles, coming from quantum computing to social impact and many important things that we can be projected into the future. So thank you so much, Karim Ammar, for your intervention and also for the hard work behind the development of this exceptional video that we will keep in Morocco as something very important during our archives. So now maybe we move on to the questions, and we have received a few questions about the intervention. And maybe the first one is related to the word that you have used regarding renaissance. We know all that AI exists for a long time ago. And what do you find very particular to say, for example, that we are experiencing a very specific moment right now?
I call my book Renaissance. First of all, thank you for inviting me to this outstanding conference, and I'm very honored to be among you today. Really, I took the title Renaissance now because in those two worlds, you have the word Renaissance and you have the word now, which means urgency. Renaissance, because I believe deeply after I made my studies during those 8 months that we are in a tipping point of the civilization that we live in. I believe our kids and the kids of our kids won't live the same life as we lived, but it's going to be a very different lives. I hope and I wish it will be a life of abundance, where everybody's happy of what they have, and there's no poorness anymore in the world. There's abundance of energy, there's abundance of transportation, there's abundance of goods and services, all made possible by the conjunctions of AI and quantum computing. And I explained in the video why. And it's a renaissance because we have, as this generation that we're living, we have to anticipate it. And it's like a rebirth. And we are living an era of those next 5 to 10 years will be a lot of turbulences, a lot of trouble, because we won't be able to know exactly where we're heading, although we have to anticipate and find the right path. And the right path is to be taken now out of using and programming our AIs, the AIs that we're going to use in the future, whether they're used in the supercalculators or whether they're used in quantum computing, wisely enough. And this is why I gave 10 main, I would say, pillars of that. And in the book, I'll go even deeper technically into how we could do it.
Oh, that's very, very important. And we'll come back to your book later. Speaking about the quantum computing, correct me if I'm wrong, Ammar, we know that in general, quantum physics and quantum computing is just something which can be projected to the future. And also from the theoretical background, there are many research that are provided in the laboratories in academia. I'm just wondering, how did you get this idea to delve into something that maybe we don't have yet many applications that can be used? And do you think that there is a real opportunities here for Morocco and for Africa?
Well, and quantum computing. Well, quantum mechanics was one of my passions. I'm not an engineer. I'm a financial guy initially, but I was passionate by quantum computing since day one, and I followed the path of quantum computing, trying to understand what it was about. And very lately, when I mean lately, is since 1 year. We're working with a bunch of with teams around the world, not in Morocco, but there are trainings about quantum computing in Morocco in different areas, in different universities. UM6B is one of them, and other universities also are implementing these trainings. You have one, I think, in Agadir, whatever. I have I'm lucky to be part of a very small group of physicists and also entrepreneurs in the quantum physics environment. So I get to know what's going on, and we are implementing a training in our inside innovation lab on the junction between AI and quantum. It's called the hybrid AI, and it works. We can work. Actually, quantum computing does very narrow calculation, as I explained, because you cannot. It makes a lot of mistakes. You have to maintain the quantum bits in a very like levitation mode. So you have to use a very hard refrigerator. We call it refrigerator in our language. It's like a cryogenic tunnel that brings you the temperature to 0 Kelvin. To give you an idea, 0 Kelvin is around minus 283, something like that, which is even colder than this space. So you imagine you're out of your containment. You also have to contain it into an atmospheric pressure, so that the qubits don't move it, don't make too much noise. So it's a pretty complicated technology, but I believe we are, as Moroccans, we have to apprehend it today. We have to look at it very deeply, and we have to take it on track. And I'll be very, very happy to help put together people to be able to work on it.
Awesome. There are many other questions, and people are asking for the video. So don't worry, for our participants, attendees, we will be sharing the video on our website and all this talk. There is also very important, there are a lot of comments. Thanks for the spectacular presentation. What is your advice for professionals working on AI that are accelerating job automation? And this is, I think, a question related to the theme of our conference. Do you think that contributing to such work is unethical or a unique opportunity to shape it for the best? So what is the balance between the opportunities and the challenges regarding the future of work?
Yeah, well, you see, if you look at our society, you had at the time, but I think 50 years ago, you had confrontation between the capitalist system and the socialist communist system. And as you know, and we know, and everybody knows, the capitalist system won. So as we work in the capitalist system, we work mostly in our main objective is productivity. And the best ever tool ever found worldwide for productivity is AI. And we know it, and we know wherever you put AI on the floor, whether it's using it for companies, using it for your own good, or using it for training or for education, AI can make magic. But we have to be very much aware, and that's the purpose of my actual philosophy, is to say we have to be aware of the potential good, but also on the potential worse. And on the work side, well, 2 days ago, I had information from lawyers who were working when I was working in New York at the time, about 30 years ago, or even more. This lawyer company, which is a very known lawyer company, replaced 40 lawyers with one AI. So imagine you have lawyers that are getting $500,000 a year, replaced by one AI. So when you get to that stage where you're a lawyer, you have to match information that comes from all over, find tricks to be able to position it, to be able to defend whomever you're defending, or to trick the law or whatever, replaced by AI. So that gives you an opinion on what stage we're in. And it just happened 2 days ago, and some happened before. So I think we have to be concerned of how we use AI for the job. We might be happy for the next 10 years, let's say 5 years even, but then we'll find out that there is a recurring curve. I was with the Prime Minister of Morocco and the President of CGOM lately in Portugal. And we were sitting together, there were 9 ministers, true story. And there was the guy from the regional manager from Microsoft. It was about, I think, 4 or 5 months ago. He was discussing about the potential of ChatGPT and how ChatGPT was good, and how it was wonderful, etc. Then I took the mic and I said, well, yes, I agree with that. But bear in mind, as you heard from Imad Mustak, 41% now, 41% of the AI algorithms on GitHub are auto-generated. That means even for us, as tech developers, we might have some trouble. So we have to look at it in another way. How, as an AI developer, AI specialist, AI researcher, can I use the tech and work on it myself, not be replaced by AI that will use it in my place? So we are in the midst of a tornado, and we have to look at it very early, very quickly, and very fast, because it is a very rapid advancing AI. This is why I call in my book advanced AI.
That's really interesting, and there are many people who are asking about your book, and maybe if you can just say a final word about your book and also a few words about Morocco AI. Ça serait bien si vous pouvez donner ce mot en français à la fin pour la communauté, aussi pour le livre, comme une très belle conclusion. C'est à moi.
Oui, écoutez, avec grand plaisir. D'abord, j'étais très honoré de passer ce moment avec vous. J'espère que tout le monde a pu comprendre, et si ça n'était pas le cas, je serais prêt à faire en sorte que la vidéo soit sous-titrée pour ceux qui souhaitent la regarder dans le site de Morocco AI. Et d'ailleurs, en exclusivité, je vous propose de vous offrir à chacune et chacun d'entre vous le livre en avant-première. Le livre sort au courant du mois de janvier, vers la fin du mois de janvier. Je pense que mi-janvier, on aura les premiers exemplaires que je souhaite véritablement offrir à Morocco AI et que Morocco AI puisse les hand over to you, vous les transmettre. Vous allez sur le site de renaissancenow.org, vous vous enregistrez, ou vous allez le demander à Morocco AI également, et à travers le site, vous pourrez être dans la liste de ceux qui le recevront gratuitement grâce à Morocco AI dans les semaines à venir. Voilà.
Voilà, c'était en exclusivité le livre de Monsieur Karim Amour. Et voilà, c'était la surprise dont on vous a parlé dans les réseaux sociaux autour de ce livre. On vous remercie énormément, c'est Karim Amour. C'était vraiment un honneur de vous recevoir et de nous préparer une vidéo de telle qualité qu'on va laisser dans nos archives. Et bien évidemment, on se retrouvera très bientôt dans une autre conférence, mais cette fois-ci en présentiel. Merci.
Avec grand plaisir, avec grand plaisir.
Merci. Bye bye.